Hello, learners. So, for today, we will be again discussing all about plate tectonics. And our topic for this week is processes along plate boundaries. So, that will cover our week 5 discussion. Okay, so before we start, may I request all of you to have your modules with you, your answer sheet, and also your lecture notebook so that you can take down notes while the video is playing. Okay, so let's start. I have here a diagram. As you can see, we have three pictures and we must determine the type of plate boundary and the motion being showcased here in each picture. Okay, so I will give you 10 seconds to think of the type of plate boundary in each number and the movement as well. Okay, now please comment your answer in the comment section of this video. Okay, let's start. Your time starts. By the way, you must think of it for the answer for each number, and then you must type your answer within 10 seconds in our comment section. Okay, you may screenshot your answer and then send it to your subject picture. Okay, or you may have your voice clip and send it to Messenger through direct message. Okay, so let's start. Your time starts now. Okay, so time's up. I hope that you had your answers already. So let's reveal what are the answers. So for the first picture, it's oops, divergent plate boundary. Okay, it is divergent plate boundary and the movement is moving apart. As you can see, the arrows are showing it is moving apart or splitting apart. Okay, how about number 2? It is convergent plate boundary, wherein the movement is moving toward. Okay, remember that the clue for the type of boundary is the arrows. Remember these arrows. Okay, and then number 3, okay, I know you already know the answer. That is transform pole boundary, which is moving slide past or grinding past each other. Okay, sliding, not toward or apart, but it is sliding. Okay, so let's proceed to our discussion proper. Let's start with convergent plate boundary. So again, what is the movement of plates in convergent plate boundary? That's right. So that is moving toward each other. So we will be focusing on the processes involved in convergent plate boundaries. Now, convergent plate boundaries has three consequences. As you can see here in the picture, now it is because of the types of crust involved. That is why we have consequences in colliding plates. So we will discuss that one by one. The first consequence or type of convergent plate boundary is oceanic continental convergence. As as we can notice, it is oceanic and continental crusts which are involved in this convergence. So as you can see here in the picture, this is the oceanic crust, primarily the Australian plate. Okay, now, wag pong malilito, oceanic crust is also called as oceanic plate. Okay, same with continental crust, it is also called as continental plate. Okay, so our continental plate here is Eurasian plate. Again, the oceanic crust or oceanic plate is the Australian plate, and the Eurasian plate is the continental plate. Okay, so let's examine the numbers. As you can see here, we have numbers. So first one, the number 1, there is the movement downward of this oceanic crust. Okay, pababa. Movement downward beneath the continental crust. So that movement downward or sinking of this oceanic crust is called subduction. Okay, subduction, which produces subduction zone. This one. And in that subduction zone, the vertical line here, or the horizontal line here, ayan, horizontal siya since in real life. Pero here kasi sa picture, parang titignan nyo siya parang pataas. Okay, but the intersection of the oceanic crust and this continental crust will lead to the formation of trench. Ayan. Kasi may subduction zone tayo wherein nandun yung paglubog ng oceanic crust. Why is it that the oceanic crust subducts and not the continental crust? So again, based on our last week's discussion, it is because the oceanic crust is denser. When we say denser, it has something to do with the composition of the rocks of the oceanic crust. So again, the composition of the oceanic crust is basaltic, or it is composed of basaltic rocks or basalt, and then the continental crust is composed of granitic rocks, which are less dense compared to basaltic rocks. Okay, and remember, when one is denser, it always goes down. Pag denser, it always goes down. Okay, so again, the denser oceanic crust is the one which subducts beneath the continental crust when they collide with each other. Okay, forming the subduction zone and the trench. Okay, remember the trench is the deepest part of the ocean and also called as submarine valleys. Okay, remember, trench is the deepest part of the ocean and also called as submarine valleys. Okay, so here in real life situation, we have the Sunda Trench, which is the product of the Australian plate and the Eurasian plate when they had collided. Okay. Next is, since the oceanic crust subducts, okay, nagsubduct sa oceanic crust beneath the continental crust, the leading plate of the oceanic crust, it is the older. Remember, yung lumulubog, older yun, older oceanic crust. Okay? Now, the leading oceanic crust, when it reached the mantle, as you can see here, a stenosphere is the upper part of the mantle. Okay? So, as you can see here, meron tayong nakikitang um, red na color. That is the indication that this leading plate had melted. Okay, why does this leading plate melted? It is because the temperature of the mantle is hotter compared to the temperature here in the crust. Okay, remember, di ba lahat naman nagme-melt kapag wala sa ref, especially the butter. It is something like that then. Okay, when the oceanic crust reaches the mantle, since it is very hot there, the leading plate or the rock started to melt. Okay, and where does it go? Um, sa paglubog ng oceanic crust, there is a portion of water pa rin nakasama doon sa rocks na yun. And then, it will combine doon sa ating molten rock, which is called magma. Kaya nagkakaroon tayo ng magma chamber sa ilalim. And those magma will find its way out. As you can see here, it will go down, it will rise up. It will rise up. Why is it that it will rise up? Since it is hotter, it becomes less dense. Okay? The magma here, okay, because of the presence of water, it will rise up. Ayan. And then, as you can see, it will form a volcanic arc. Okay? It will form a volcanic arc since the magma will rise up and it will search for a way out. Okay? Ayan. So, it is not like volcano that is very high agad. So, remember, when the magma rises up, ayan, the temperature is cooler compare here in the mantle. So, when the temperature is cooler, what will happen to the magma? It will cool down and it will become a rock. Ayan, hanggang sa mag-layer-layer na yan, it will form a volcanic arc or volcano. Okay? So, yun yung way kung bakit nabubuo ang volcano when in terms of convergent plate boundary. Okay? Remember that. Paano nabuo yung volcano natin? It is because the molten rocks here or the magma will rise up. Ayan. In this part, it will rise up since it will become less dense. Okay? Ayan. And then, as time pass by, those cooled magma will become rocks and it will turn into layers of rocks until it became high volcano or yung mataas na volcano natin, tall volcano. Okay, but remember, kahit yan ay flat at may lava na lumabas dyan, may opening, that is also considered as volcano. Okay, take note of that. Again, the process involved here is the subduction process, or is the sinking of the denser oceanic crust can be seen. Ayan. And then there is the formation of subduction zone and formation of trench. Also, there is the formation of volcanic arc. Okay. Now, what are the geologic events? Or yung mga pangyayari kapag naggungguan yung oceanic crust and continental crust. So, first one is earthquake, which is the shaking of the ground. Remember, when there is the movement of plates, there will be the shaking of the ground. So, there is a occurrence of earthquake. Remember that. So, as we said a while ago, subduction, which is the sinking of denser oceanic crust beneath less dense continental crust. Again, why is it that the oceanic crust subducts, not the continental crust? It is because it is denser. Okay, it is denser. Ayan, so nasa ng subduction zone? Yung tinuro natin kanina, that is this part. Okay, and then tsunami, it is also called as harbor wave, which is or which has 30 meters long ang wavelength. Ayan. Meaning, yung ocean wave na yan kapag tumawid or kapag humampas na siya, that is the 30 meters. And also yung taas niya, ayan, para ma-consider as tsunami, it is 30 meters. So, napakataas niyan. Na kapag natabunan ka, medyo kailangan mong or maiisip natin kung mabubuhay pa tayo dyan or hindi. Okay, so tsunami is involved or tsunami happens because it or the convergence involved the oceanic crust, may tubig. Kaya kapag yumanig yung lupa, nagkaroon ng earthquake, kasunod na kalimitan ang tsunami. Okay, and then volcanic eruption, since one of the geologic feature here is volcano or volcanic arc. So geologic features, again, we have here the trench or submarine valleys. Nasaan yung trench? Ayan. So here, sa may number 2. Okay, trench. Next one is volcanic arc, which is an opening on the Earth's crust where lava flows. Okay, so naayan po ang ating volcanic arc. Okay, ayan. See volcanic arc. Okay, next one. Okay, we have here the second type of convergence, which is the convergent plate boundary between oceanic and oceanic crust. Two oceanic crust. So the first one kanina is oceanic and continental. Now we have here oceanic and oceanic plates. Okay, the collision between two oceanic plates. So as you can see, almost parehas lang kanina, almost the same. But the, ano yung sa tingin yung naiiba? Okay, kanina, we have volcanic arc, but now, wala tayong volcanic arc dito. Okay, may mapapansin kayong volcano, pero hindi volcanic arc ang tawag dyan, since itong mga volcano ay magkakahanay at naandito, napapalibutan siya ng tubig. Okay, napapalibutan siya ng tubig. That is why, hindi volcanic arc ang tawag. That is called volcanic island arc or island arc. Ayan. So again, there is the subduction here, and then we have here the production or formation of subduction zone in the trench. Ayan. And then also, we have the melting of the rocks. Magiging molten rock siya na ang katawagan natin ay magma. Ayan. And then, saka mapuproduce ang volcanic island arc. Ayan. So as you can see here, the oceanic plates. Now, both of them are denser or dense kasi oceanic crust sila. Now, bakit yung isa ang lumubog? Okay, it is because this one is older. Okay, kanina, bakit ang lumubog sa collision ng oceanic crust at continental crust ay oceanic crust? Kasi nga, denser ang oceanic crust. Okay, but what if there is the collision between two oceanic crust? Sasabi natin ang oceanic crust ay denser. Okay, now, the one that will subduct will be the older oceanic crust. Meaning, this one, yung tinuturo natin, this is the older one, compare here. This is the younger one. Okay, remember that. When two oceanic crusts collide, the older oceanic crust subducts beneath the younger oceanic crust. Okay, so again, it is almost the same. We have the production of or formation of subduction zone, formation of trench, ayan. And yung naiba lang ng konti ang tawag is volcanic island arc or island arc. So we have here, ang example natin is Pacific Plate and the Philippine Plate. Okay, as you can see, there is the arrows which shows that these two oceanic crusts is colliding. Ayan. This is also the reason why the Philippines has been made. Okay, sa millions of years ago, wala talaga tayo sa mapa. But because of this activity, the collision of Pacific Plate and Eurasian Plate, saka tayo nabuo ang Philippines. Okay, at pagtagal ng panahon, nagkaroon na ng Philippine Plate. Kasi nga, nagkaroon na tayo ng sarili natin na kalupaan. It is because of the collision of Pacific Plate and Eurasian Plate. Okay. Yan, as you can see. So, ang trench na na-produce dito is the Mariana Trench. Yung una kanina ay Sunda Trench, Australian and Eurasian Plate. Okay, now pag Pacific Plate and Philippine Plate naman, there is the formation of the Mariana Trench. Again, trench is the deepest part of the ocean. Okay, very good. So, geologic events, let's review. Remember to take it down. Again, you have the earthquake, subduction. Remember the terms. Okay, so ayan ang subduction natin. Next one, we have tsunami. Again, since both of the involved plates are oceanic plates. And then volcanic eruption, since we have volcanic island arc. Geologic features, trench. Hindi nawawala ang trench kapag may involved na oceanic crust. You will see later. Okay, so naayun yung trench natin, Mariana Trench. And then, volcanic island arc. As you can see here, ayan, hindi siya volcanic arc, it is volcanic island arc kasi island siya, napapalibutan siya ng tubig. Okay, ayan, opening Earth's crust where lava flows that is located in bodies of water. Okay, kaya siya tinawag na island arc kasi napapalibutan nga siya ng tubig. Ayan. So, in our example, ito ay Mariana Islands. Okay. And then the last type of convergent plate boundary is the convergence between two continental plates. Okay, convergence between two continental plates. So, kanina parehas na dense, ito naman parehas na less dense. So, as you can see here in the picture, parehas sila ng continental crust or continental plate. Ako mapapansin niyo dito may water na. Kasi yung continental crust dito, ito lang maliit. Ayan, which is the Indian plate. And then this one is the Eurasian plate. Ayan. What have you noticed? Okay. Aside na subduction, katulad nito, or katulad ng dalawang nakita natin kanina, the majority of the crust or the plate of the majority of the plates moved upward. Kasi kapag nagbungguan sila at less dense, the tendency is to move upward. Hindi katulad ng may oceanic crust na talagang less dense or mas denser siya, tapos may less dense sa kanya. Ang nangyayari is yung isa lumulubog, nagsasubduct. But here, since dalawa sila na less dense, ang nangyayari, pag nag-collide sila, nagmo-move sila upward. Nagkakaroon tayo ng folded mountains. Okay, as you can see here, hindi siya maituturing na subduction here. Bakit? Kasi wala tayong na-produce na subduction zone. Ayan o. Kasi kung mapapansin nyo, yan ay mountain na yung nasa taas. Okay? Remember that when two continental plates collide, it will move or press each other upward. That is why a mountain or folded mountain is produced. So here in our example, we have here the Himalayas. Okay, sikat na sikat because there is the Mount Everest. Diyan ang Mount Everest. And it is still moving upward. Pataas pa rin siya ng pataas. Ayan. So every year, the movement of plates is approximately 2 centimeters. Okay, every year, 2 centimeters. So, gaano kaliit yung 2 centimeters na yun? Kaya, after millions of years, saka lang makikita yung difference sa ating landforms. Kasi every year, 2 centimeters lang yung movement ng plates. So, kung hatiin mo siya sa 365 days, napaka-bagal ng movement na yun. Okay? So, remember that. And then, geologic events, again, there is earthquake pa rin. Ayan. And then, geologic features, we have the formation of folded mountains or mountains. Wala tayong subduction. Okay? Wala rin tayong trench. Remember, kapag may subduction, automatic may trench. Kapag walang subduction, walang trench. Okay? Now, do you have questions po sa ating convergent plate boundary? Again, we have 3. The first one, case or type of convergence is oceanic continental. So, ano-ano yung processes involved? We have the subduction, we have the formation of trench, formation of volcanic arc, and formation of subduction zone. Okay, so geologic features, tanggalin nyo lang yung formation. We have subduction zone, we have trench, we have volcanic arc. Okay, and then the geologic events, remember, laging may earthquake. At kapag may oceanic crust, laging may or posible ang tsunami. And also the volcanic eruption. And the second one is oceanic convergence. Same lang nung una natin, oceanic continental. Ang naiba lang ay yung oceanic or yung volcanic island arc. Okay? And then the last one we have here, the convergence of two continental plates. Okay, naiiba. There is no subduction. There is no formation of trench. There is only the formation of mountains or folded mountains. Okay? So, ayan. Now, let's proceed to divergent plate boundary. So, again, the movement of divergent plate boundary is moving apart or splitting apart. Moving apart. Naghihiwalay. Naghihiwalay. Okay? So, ayan. We have here the process of the separation of these plates. Okay? Now, the picture here shows the separation sa continental crust. Ayan. So, uh, what do you call this? The significant effect of divergence of plates is the formation of ocean basin or formation of ocean. Okay, so in this part, in the first picture, as you can see here, there is a continental crust. May fissure na siya. When we say fissure, fracture siya because of the tension ng paghihiwalay ng two plates. Okay, kaya kung mapapansin nyo, there is the crack on the top of the continental crust. Ayan. So, nandun yung um, origin na maghihiwalay yung dalawang continental crust. And here, ayan, there is the magma chamber. Okay, now we will be discussing this on detail. Why is it that the plates move? Okay, di ba, plate boundaries, there is movement involved. Now, bakit siya naghihiwalay talaga or nagko-collide or nag-slide? So, we will be discussing this on week 7. Okay? We will be discussing that. Why is it? Ano yung factor? Bakit naitutulak yung plates natin? Paghihiwalay or pagkukulide or pag-slide. So we will be discussing that on detail. Okay? May kinalaman ng magma doon. Ayan. So again, on this picture, we have here the magma chamber wherein, as you can see, the magma is rising up. Naghahanap siya ng opening. Ayan. So we have here, the example is Corolado Plateau. Let's see. Ayan. So this is an example of plateau na nasa divergent plate boundary. Ayan. Kung mapapansin nyo, ang ganda. Pero may something na nangyayari dyan. Kaya hindi rin ganun na safe dyan. Lagi dyan may earthquake, pero very mahina. Weak earthquake shaking the ground. Ayan. The next one, after thousands of years, hundred thousands of years, ayan na, nag-separate na siya. As you can see here, sa ilalim, there is rock pa rin. It is because when the magma reaches the crust, it will cool down. And if it will cool down, magiging rocks na siya doon. Okay? Now, when these two continental plates have that gap, it is called Rift Valley. Okay? Rift Valley. Walang Rift Valley sa convergent plate boundary, kung matatandaan nyo. Wala tayong nabanggit doon. Ang meron lang na Rift Valley is divergent plate boundary. Ayan. So, dyan, magkakaroon dyan ng possible na river. Okay. Nandito rin sa pinaka gitna. As time pass by, millions of years, thousands of years, mapupuno rin siya ng tubig. As you can see here dito sa third picture. Okay. Ayan. So, one example is African Rift Valley or Rio Grande Rift, if you are familiar with that. Specific is East African Valley. Ayan, kung mapapansin nyo. Ito yung two continental plates na kasi naghiwalay na sila. Ayan. As time pass by, magkakaroon na rin yan ng river. Ayan. And millions of years after, it will form, ayan, an ocean. Okay? Ayan. Like here. Ito yung Colorado kanina. Ito yung sa Colorado Plateau. Then meron na siyang Colorado River here. Ayan. Ito yung posibleng mangyari sa ating African Rift. Okay? And then we have here the oceanic crust and new ocean forms. The third picture, as you can see, we have here a body of water. Ayan. Yung laki niya ay kasing laki na siya ng dagat. Akala natin maliit, pero dagat na yan. Ayan, may mga sediments na. And then the magma is starting or is continuously oozing up hanggang dun sa ating plate. Now this one, kanina or before, it is continental plate. But since it is sea already, it will start to form oceanic crust. Okay, bakit? Kasi yung magma natin, once na nag-solidify, ayan, magiging denser na rin siya. Nandyan yung iron, nandyan yung silicon, aluminum. Kaya once na cool down siya, magiging dense rocks na yun. Yung naandyan. Kaya mapoproduce natin ang oceanic crust. Okay, so one example is Red Sea. So we will be viewing this one via satellite. This is the two continental plates before. Ayan. As you can see here, ito yung Red Sea, nasa gitna. So millions of years before, magkadikit yan. Now, millions of years after, naghiwalay na sila and it formed a sea. Okay? Sea pa lang siya kasi maliit pa lang. Okay? Ayan. So again, punta tayo dito. Divergence of plates, meaning moving apart or splitting apart of plates. Okay? And then, as time pass by, it will form a rift valley. Okay? And then, ang example natin here is the African Rift Valley. And then, millions of years pa, it will form a sea or yung dagat. And then, millions of years, magkakaroon na tayo dito ng ocean. Okay, ocean basin. Remember, here, doon sa ating part na to, I forgot to tell you, ang tawag dito is mid-ocean ridge. Ayan. Dito sa atin kanina, sa continental crust, this one is Rift Valley. Okay, pero pag lumawak na siya ng lumawak, yung parang mountain underwater, ayan, yung parang mountain underwater, that is called mid-ocean ridge. Okay, please take note, that is mid-ocean ridge. Ayan. Since we have here oceanic crust, ayan po, yung bagong nag-solidify na magma natin, magiging ocean floor. So, alin ang mas matanda? Yung nandito sa may mid-ocean ridge o yung nandito malapit sa continental crust? Okay, so ang mas matanda ay yung nandito malapit sa continental crust. Kung mapapansin nyo, ito yon. Now, itong nandito sa may malapit sa mid-ocean ridge, kaka-solidify lang, kakabuo pa lang ng ocean floor. Okay, so here in the mid-ocean ridge, you will see relatively young rocks. Okay? And then older rocks here, dito sa part na to. Okay? So, ayan. Again, ano yung mapoproduce na geologic feature here in divergent plate boundary? We have Rift Valley, or the fissures first, and then Rift Valley, and then we have here the mid-ocean ridge or oceanic ridge. Okay, our example here is the mid-Atlantic ridge. Okay, or yung Atlantic Ocean. Ayan. As you can see, ayan, may mga sediments na. Tignan niyo yung sediments na to, oh. Thicker kapag malapit siya sa continental crust. Here, walang masyadong sediments kasi nga bago pa lang na-produce yung ating ocean floor. Okay? So, let's have an activity. Mabilis na activity. Okay, so we have here fill in the blanks. Okay, so formation of blank and oceanic ridges are indications that crust is blank or splitting apart. What is the answer? Okay, so formation of rift valley and oceanic ridges are indications that crust is moving apart or splitting apart. In this case, the plates are said to be in divergent plate boundaries wherein they tend to move apart. Most divergent boundaries are situated along underwater mountain ranges called oceanic ridges. Remember, underwater mountain ranges is also called or is also referred to oceanic ridges. As the plates separate, new materials from the mantle ooze up to fill the gap. The materials will slowly cool to produce new seafloor or ocean floor. Okay, so remember that. Okay po. Now let's proceed to the last part. Oh, by the way, what is the possible geologic events in divergent plate boundary? So remember, earthquake, and then, ayan, there is the volcanic eruption underwater because of the magma, nag-ooze up siya, kaya volcanic eruption rin yun. And when there is the formation of sea or ocean, there is a possibility of tsunami pa rin. Okay, so let's proceed to the last part, which is the transform fault boundary. Ayan. So I have here a video. Ayan. So as you can see here, na ito yung sliding. Okay? Sliding past. And then, kailan siya nag-slide? Kapag may two plates na nag-diverge or nag-move away. Okay? Ayan. Nag-slide siya here in this part as the two plates are moving away from each other. Meaning, ang transform fault ay kapatid or laging kadugtong ni divergent plate. Meaning, when there is a divergence between two plates, there is a possible spot kung saan nandun yung sliding ng plates. Ayan, as you can see here. Ayan. Okay. Ayan. So, here, red is the warmest at ridge. Ito, warm, mas mainit yung rocks dito. Kasi nga, nandun yung magma chamber. And then green is cooler rocks. Kasi malayo na siya sa ridge. Okay. New plates cool away from ridge. And then we have here, ayan, yung example natin, which is the North American plate and Pacific plate. Ayan. Also, dito rin sa taas, we have here yung sa Mid-Atlantic Ocean. Oh,
Okay. Now, mid-ocean ridges rather. Mid-ocean ridges. Ayan. This one. Mid-ocean ridges. Meaning, may divergence. Divergent plate. Kasi may mid-ocean ridges. Okay. Habang nag-slide yung ating plates. So, ang example here is Pacific plate and then we have the North American plate. Ayan. Okay. So, we have the example of San Andreas Fault. Okay po. So, San Andreas Fault, nandyan siya sa may California. Okay. So, as you can see, there is the folded part here ng lupa kasi nga nag-slide. Once na nag-slide, kalimitan, kapag nag-slide or sa tela, nagugusot. Same sa lupa, para siyang nagusot. Oh. Yan. Remember, in transform fault, lagi niyang kadikit yung or in some part of it, may kadikit siyang divergent plate boundary and there is no significant feature which is formed. But there is an earthquake, occurrence of earthquake, and also yung fault line. Ayan. Okay, and the fracture of the crust or the plates. Okay, so do you have questions, by the way? Remember, um, transform fault boundary, we have the earthquake, and then the formation of faults, fault line, and fractures. In divergent plate boundary, we have there the formation of rift valley, ocean ridges, fissures, okay, and then geologic events are earthquake, volcanic eruption, and also tsunami if there is an oceanic crust involved. Convergent plate boundary, so we have there the formation of subduction zone, trench, mountains, volcanic arcs, and island arcs. Okay, and then the geologic events, we have the earthquake, we have volcanic eruption, we have tsunami. Okay, so please take note of those. And so if you have questions, please uh, have your direct message with your teacher, subject teacher, or you may have your direct message sa akin. Okay po, so remember that all you have to do is to have your hard work in studying. Okay, so see you again next week. Goodbye and God bless.